Get ready, because today we're going to have some fun. We're going to talk about the 5 anti-hero cliches that I hate the most. Now, people love anti-heroes for many reasons. Sometimes it's because they're darker heroes, or they have a special swagger about them, or because of the moral complexity that these characters offer. There's a lot to like, but there are also some annoying cliches surrounding these characters, and I want to talk about 5 of them. What I'm going to do, I'll list out each cliche, I'll explain why it sucks, and I'll give you an example of each. Before we go any further, here's your spoiler warning. The ones in red contain the heaviest spoilers. Cliche number 1 is the code breaker. Now, personal codes of ethics often make an anti-hero interesting, as well as keep them from wandering into villain territory. But sometimes an anti-hero violates their own moral code, and when a personal code is broken, it might lead to some interesting consequences. But if it doesn't, all it does is cause the story and the character to lose some of their magic. For an example, let's look at Batman Begins. Typically, Batman is portrayed as a violent anti-hero with a moral code that prevents him from using guns or killing people. This connects back to the tragic backstory surrounding his parents' deaths, and it helps make him a compelling character. Early on in Batman Begins, he trains under Ra's al Ghul and vows to become someone who doesn't kill.
I will go back to Gotham and I will fight men like this, but I will not become an executioner.
But then, at the end of the movie, after battling for control of Gotham, Batman defeats Ra's and leaves him to die.
I won't kill you, but I don't have to save you.
I've seen people argue that Batman's decision is reasonable because he saved Raz's life once before, and that led to nightmarish results. But this doesn't work for me. Batman's supposed to stand for something greater. That's what his code is there for. And if he has an opportunity to prevent loss of life, he should. Cliche number 2, inconsistent morality. This is when an anti-hero carelessly wavers between good and bad behavior. Often their actions feel contrived, their motivations feel undercooked, and the plot or bad writing dictates what they do. For an example, let's look at the 2004 movie Catwoman. I watched this for the first time recently, and I couldn't believe how much fun I had. The unintentional comedy is off the charts. I mean, just listen to some of this shit.
Come down here. What, are you stuck? The cat's not up here anymore.
Okay, and I'm sure that makes you very sad.
What are you doing? Don't ever do that again.
You hear that? It's called silence.
You boys thought you could come in here and steal all these beautiful things? What a perfect idea.
I gotta tell you, the whole time I was watching this, I was hopping up and down, clapping like a monkey. It's legitimately hilarious, and the next time you're having a rough day, you need to watch it. Anyway, this one starts with about an hour's worth of opening credits before we get introduced to Patience Phillips. She works as a graphic designer for this evil cosmetics company, and their latest product is a beauty cream that makes women look like the Walking Dead. When Patience stumbles upon this info, the company higher-ups squirt her out of a tunnel, and she dies before getting revived by a magical Egyptian cat. From there, the movie feels like a copy-paste of The Crow. After being killed, she acquires animal superpowers, and then she sets out to get revenge on the people who killed her. Not the worst idea, but whereas The Crow uses this situation to explore its anti-hero in compelling ways, Catwoman has this inconsistent Jekyll and Hyde dynamic going on, where she's bad, good, bad, good, bad, good, or whatever she needs to be at a given moment. There's no logic or sense to it. She steals a motorcycle, breaks into a jewelry store, then she stops a group of thieves before stealing things herself, and she returns them the next day. Later, she makes it her mission to stop the zombie cream people, and this is like the most important thing in the world to her, but she still has time to take a break to ride this broken Ferris wheel with the guy from Miss Congeniality. Then, she nearly kills him before going out to eat sushi with him. Or did she eat the sushi first? I don't know. My brain is broken from this movie. But anyway, then there's this finale sequence where she rescues him from the evil zombie cream lady, and instead of bravely fighting her, Catwoman runs away like a coward so they can have the final boss battle in a more dramatic location. There, they try to kill each other, and Catwoman wins before deciding that she wants to save the evil zombie lady's life. But the lady dies anyway, and the movie ends with Catwoman sending her boyfriend a sad letter and running across rooftops. So, to sum it all up, there's no consistency to her character or actions, nothing makes sense, this movie sucks, and you should definitely watch it. Third cliche that I hate is the switch flipper. This is an anti-hero who abruptly becomes a hero or villain. It involves a rushed character arc that leads to an unnatural and unearned transformation, and it usually is done for plot purposes. For an example, let's look at Jaime Lannister from Game of Thrones. Now, in the early seasons, he undergoes one of the best transformations you'll ever see. He starts as this smug, disgusting villain who shoves kids out windows and shags his sister, and then his world gets rocked with a series of challenges that break him down and force him to reinvent himself into a redeemed antihero. His journey not only makes us forgive him, but it also makes us root for him. Then Season 8 happens, and it assassinates his character by abruptly changing him back into the man he once was. Initially, he fights bravely alongside the good guys and hooks up with Brienne of Tarth, but then the switch flips. After years of strong development, Jaime goes down the drain in the span of about 2 episodes. Not only does he scurry back into the arms of his sister/lover, but he also declares that he doesn't care about innocent lives, and in the process he stabs every one of his fans right in the heart. Fourth cliche that I hate is the laughably unstoppable antihero. This is an antihero who is so badass that nothing can stop them, not even death or other brutal challenges. This is plot armor maxed out beyond level 99, it hurts the story's credibility, and problems are not only solved, but they're ignored. For an example, let's look at Jack Bauer from 24. If you follow this channel, you know I love this show to death. It's my all-time favorite, but even as a mega fan, I have to admit that some of the things Jack overcomes are ridiculous. Now, when it comes to action heroes, we usually give them some leeway when they escape explosions or survive shootouts. I have no problem with that. What I do have a problem with, though, is how Jack dies in both seasons 2 and 4, and yet death barely trips him up. His Season 2 death is especially wild because after having his heart stop, he launches right back into action without any meaningful consequences. Then there's his heroin addiction subplot from Season 3. The first episode shows Jack battling addiction, and the next few episodes show him suffering from its effects. But then his boss gives him a magical miracle pill that instantly ends his addiction, and that's it. Now, part of the draw with a character like Jack Bauer is that he's a one-man army, he's clever, he's fearless, and he always finds a way. And I love that about him. But sometimes the show kicks itself in the nuts by refusing to let him find a more realistic way to struggle with and overcome his biggest problems. Finally, the fifth cliche that I hate is the squeaky clean anti-hero. This is an anti-hero whose darker qualities are toned down, usually to make the character more kid-friendly. It's a case of contrived writing preventing the character from getting their hands dirty, and ultimately their behavior seems inauthentic and they feel like they're holding back. Probably the most notorious example of this is Han Solo in the special edition of Star Wars A New Hope. As I'm sure many of you know, in the original 1977 version of the movie, Han encounters a bounty hunter named Greedo while at the cantina. Greedo threatens to kill Han, and before the situation can get messy, Han blasts Greedo and makes him into a mess. It's a great part of Han's early characterization, and it shows how sly and resourceful he can be. But fast forward to the late 90s, and the special edition of the movie makes an adjustment to this scene. Instead of having Han take initiative and eliminate Greedo, Greedo shoots first so that Han looks like less of a cold-blooded killer. But here's the problem with this revision. It takes a strong, straightforward moment and turns it into a cluttered one. You got 2 lasers firing at once, and Greedo somehow misses his target from right across the table. In the end, Greedo looks like a moron, and Han looks like someone who's more lucky than clever. Worst of all, there's no need to justify Han's actions here. Him shooting a bounty hunter who's explicitly threatening to kill him is a move that's completely understandable. And the more you think about it, the more you wish Lucas had left this scene alone. So I hope this helps. Question of the day, what anti-hero cliche do you hate the most? Let us know in the comments section below. Thank you for watching. If you want to support the channel, please pick up a copy of either one of my books and be sure to leave reviews on Amazon. Bad Parts is great if you like small town horror. It's about people trading away their sick and injured body parts in order to get healthy again. And then Entry Wounds is great if you like thrillers. It's about a guy who picks up a haunted gun and he can't put it down till he kills 6 people with it. Also be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Check out my other videos. Maybe even hit that super thanks button. And as always, remember to keep on writing.